Hi everyone, this is Carrick from ACG, and today I bring you the review for the open beta version of Dirty Bomb, the supposedly free-to-play game by Splash Damage. These are the fine folks who brought us the excellent Wolfenstein Enemy Territory, the mostly good Batman Arkham Origins, the terse intense Enemy Territory, Quake Wars, oh, and they also made Brink. Yikes. Let's see if Splash Damage brings the heavy rain in this multiplayer firefight heavy shooter, or if they miss the target once again, bringing nunchucks and a bad attitude to a gunfight. In Dirty Bomb, you play one of a series of mercs outfitted with the equivalent of a small nation in heavy weapons, and you go out in a series of levels to perform actions that notoriously make no sense, like delivering drugs or protecting an armored car as it literally drives like 50 feet and then parks again. Listen, about 20 seconds into it, it's best to turn off your brain when it comes to why, and instead solidly immerse yourself in how. And how is simple. You pick some mercs, pick a loadout, and mostly run full speed through the level, shooting anything that moves because friendly fire is unavoidable, and usually first shot is first dead. Let's just see how close Dirty Bomb comes to the master of Twitch shooting gameplay like Unreal 1999, Quake, Doom, and of course, as I mentioned, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. And remember, this review is caffeinated, which means powered by the same lava-like full-speed god blood that pumps through Evil Knievel's body, but with less bone juice sloshing around my appendages. Graphics are up first. I have to hand it to these guys. They know how to make character and level art just really pop. The game's mercs are unique and awesome with eye-catching looking characters with their own attitudes and separate identities and styles that elicit a mixture of cartoon-filtered body image with Capcom look off like you see something important camera angles. And it's also true that, like Gears of War and some other recent titles, the mercs here mostly look like they bathed in the blood of slaughtered weightlifters and a bath of steroids and human growth hormone. However, the muscled effect is muted a great deal compared to some other titles and characters like Vasily, the sniper with the focus-tested name. He goes completely the other route, looking more like a scarecrow that sprouted to life after watching one too many Nitro Circus episodes, with his edgy hoodie in full display. I still really like the designs. They all look good. The characters are super interesting looking. Now, when it comes to the levels, there's less than 8 of them so far. They look outstanding, and they have artistic style that melds the imagery of the Unreal series with titles like Brink and even a bit of Call of Duty. Instead of the mishmash that explanation brings, it actually ends up being outstanding in its setup and offers unique visuals and interesting setups for the firefights throughout. I just gotta really point it out that as I was playing, the design of the stages is clearly on another level, with twistbacks, dead ends that aren't really, and incredibly well-placed gaps in level structures to allow for hidden sniping, safe spots, regrouping locations, and planning moments really abounding throughout each level. Every single spot in a map seems to have 2 overlooking areas, 1 shortcut, and 2 dead ends, eliciting a feeling of revolving through the level, because staying in one place is about as effective as a Druger birth prevention plan. Now, that is aside from the level aptly titled Underground, and it's so laughably boring and ultimately flat as level design goes that it begs the question if the level designers were playing the game when someone made the final decision without asking them, like the dude who was delivering them late-night Chinese food. It's laughably boring, frustratingly mundane, and doesn't have near the graphics pizzazz, visual interesting, or gameplay elements that the other levels have. Its inclusion is a mystery. During gameplay, many people were simply dropping out or complaining about the level the entire time, and whenever it popped up as the next stage, a good number of people just left the server to join another one. It's not that it was terrible, but it's nowhere near the quality of the other levels that you're offered. Now, despite running the game at its absolute highest settings, it performed very well, usually sticking at 60 frames per second, despite running at 1440p with the anti-aliasing and all the other features pretty much cranked. When all the bombs are dropping on your location, plus you're laying down enough suppressive fire that someone could walk across it, frame rate is king, and in this game, it cannot be stressed just how much so. I was also stoked to see it not miss a beat, even on my 680 GTX at 1080p. The game ran smooth as butter, with almost no frame rate hitches, despite moments of hilariously high-level destruction occurring with any one level at any one time. Now, there is some hinkiness here and there, especially because this is an open beta with non-loading art assets. Due to this being an open beta, I think you should probably expect that, but some things like Merc avatars might not load and instead show what looks like a Windows broken image link instead. It's odd and slightly off-putting, but because it is a beta, it's not the worst we've seen, and honestly, that's pretty much it when it comes to problems with the game graphically. Overall, I'd say it's excellent. The art style, the level setup, and their texture work is phenomenal. And the weapons are a high point, with both realistic and futuristic weapons covered in some excellent textures and bump maps, sound, music, and voice.
Here comes Arthur.
Now, sound, of course, is up first. I have to mention that when a game does ambient sound well, it creates an umbrella of experience that can elevate the environment above even mistakes made elsewhere in the soundstage and the levels. Here, the ambient sound is just incredible, and though there are mistakes in sound elsewhere, which I am going to discuss, the ambient sound staging and mixing and the stereo mixing are incredible. I was never confused as to where a firefight was occurring, whether it was to my right or left, above or below me, or even bullets flecking through the air 1 inch above my perfectly bald head. The fact is, the ambient sound here is pure brilliance. It is just amazing to listen to. That leaves the guns themselves, which run the range from extraordinarily crisp and clean to surprisingly terrible, like the shotguns. I mean, thinking bad thoughts and trying to hex someone sounds scarier than some of the shotguns here, while larger machine guns boom across the lower end of the spectrum and the lighter caliber machine guns tear across the higher end. It's some of the secondary weapons and explosions that I personally love the best. Landmines rattle your teeth, and incoming aircraft thunder across the battlefield before dropping man-mulchers across some poor bastard storefront with alarming regularity. And they all sound perfect. I just can't figure out why some of the shotguns are almost completely lacking in good low end grunt to the point that they sound like those fake shotguns that trick shooters use. As a package, I have to say it's excellent. The shotguns really do bother me, but there's a very tangible environment that's set with these sounds in this game, and they do as much as the graphics to solidify the atmosphere that Splash Damage was obviously looking for. Up next, of course, is music. Listen, there isn't much, and what's there is okay, but it's nothing to write home to. The game's about greeting people in the age-old art of war, not rocking out to techno music, and for that, I am thankful. What little is there in the menus is fine and not trash, but no one will be saying, man, I didn't like Dirty Bomb, but that soundtrack rocked. In the end, you're shooting one another in the face, listening to rock tunes probably doesn't matter as much. Voice. Now, whether yelling for help right before someone defibrillates your soul, or requesting ammo from a teammate, or even just yelling to everybody nearby that you're dropping ammo packs and med packs and to come get some, the voices are excellent, cleanly recorded, and mixed perfectly into the environment. There isn't a lot, as no one in the game is stopping from the shooting to discuss the qualities of sound healthcare, but that's expected. The game does really well with what it's got. And of course, gameplay is up next. As I said before, pick a merc, outfit him with a loadout from your loadout cards, jump into the tutorial, normal open games, or timed and tracked league games, and kill people. Now, the devs have tried to make French toast and call it surrender bread by saying that the mercs aren't classes, they're people. Listen, each guy or gal does have specialties and loadouts that run in the order of rarity, like magic cards from lead to cobalt, but for the most part, loadouts share a similarity in the damage class of weapons that they use. They're still classes, and that's fine, because renaming shit isn't gonna make, help, or hinder people from liking the gameplay if it's bad. And each merc is unique in what offerings they bring to the table, and even the 2 or 3 that at first seem to overlap have either dramatically different weapons or secondary skills, and playing each merc, understanding their role within the combat and relaying that through action is the name of the game here, and for the most part, it's done incredibly well. Sadly, at least so far, there hasn't been any indication of gangs, groups, or true mercenary companies where like-minded death dealers who've enjoyed killing together can meet up and plan their next murder spree as a family. I don't see anything so far but the most basic of party options, and that actually sort of depressed me. Now, once you picked your merc and picked your magic card loadout, you enter a level and you're informed of the stages to completion. Usually one team's doing something, the other team's stopping them, and depending on the level of teamwork, that can devolve into everyone just shooting everyone else, or some actual teamwork occurring. Since the attacking team has very real objectives that have to be done, it is there that the real teamwork is accomplished, and I have to say that the game does wonders in sponsoring a team feel when you are trying to complete objectives. Regardless of the merc I chose, I felt a keen sense of satisfaction whenever an objective was met, because even if I was just healing people or setting up auto turrets, opening a set of gates, booby trapping an area, or seeing if I could make someone's face look like a noodle strainer by shooting it full of holes, it felt like I was helping my team all the time. Also, the objectives are set up in such a way that forward movement through the levels is required, and that is usually done by walking over the hysterically muscled caricatures of my opponents. The additional fact that movement is absolutely dialed in cannot be ignored, as everything from leaping through open windows to escaping enemies by running for your goddamn life like a little ninny feels perfect. Oh, and then there are dopamine dumping moments of mono-e-mono warfare that, win or lose, has a lasting effect on your heart rate. Defensive play and coordinated and strategic protective plans aren't ignored though, and with some mercs able to landmine areas, drop turrets, or sticky bomb the ever-living shit out of choke points, the fact is good gameplay almost always beats out individual scores, except in a couple instances, which I'll get to in a second. Teamwork can see a bad position turned around in seconds, and many games exist in my memory just in the time that I've played it, where an astute medic reversed not only the course of a battle, but the entire level's layout by just smart teamwork. Additionally, a couple secondary mines laid out in highly trafficked areas, and suddenly an entire section is the scene of a mass murder, with no enemy's body parts remaining connected to any other body part. I, for one, used the ability to drop auto turrets as both a deterrent for flanking enemies, but also as a sound alert, as they would spool up, letting me know that enemies had registered movement. There are lots of unique strategic uses to the secondary weapons that I bet even the devs probably didn't plan on it, and it shows their excellent and past team experiences in the level design and gameplay here. And of course, speaking about the weapons, all of them seem to have the perfect amount of recoil versus reward to them, meaning that rarely do you blame the game for a mistake. The game really does harken back, for me, to Unreal 1999 and more quick-twitch shooters, but with added depth across the merc and loadout systems that, once you have a good number of layouts, it really allows for a unique feel, despite there not being that many actually different mercs when you think about it. Find that loadout you really like with the perks that fit your playstyle, and you have an almost surreal moment. And despite the flaws in the loadout systems itself, which I'll discuss later in the review, the loadouts themselves and their impact on the gameplay just cannot be understated. Now, the TTK, or time to kill, seems a bit higher than recent games, but good headshotting and quick movement can keep you both alive and killing regardless of taking a few shells to the face. Also, aiming down the sights, not super useful. You can do it, and it definitely does help, but at the end, you can still get a lot of kills without doing that. Now, emotionally, I have to say the game is just an adrenal dump. There is absolutely second to second, minute to minute, and hour to hour fun to be had in this game. From left to right, up and down, there are attacks coming from all different directions. The level design, coupled with just the insanely cool movement, absolutely had me dialed into my fun center. However, this is where we run smack dab into the problems with Dirty Bomb. You know, it should always be remembered that excellent fun and addictive gameplay cannot, nor will it ever, completely stamp out pay-to-win sour taste in gamers' mouths, and Dirty Bomb is positively infected with pay-to-win. First, the only thing you get 100% of in the entire game is the levels, at least so far. As for mercs, you start with either a bare few, if you play it for free, or 5 mercenaries if you buy the starter pack. A starter pack that goes out of its way to laughably tell you how much money it should be worth, but you're getting a deal, you see? You should feel like you're getting a deal. And that might be the real crux of the story here. There's a lot of dubious self-selling that goes on within this game and this group. For example, this is also the same group that have a video where somebody during the video says, one of the nice things about free-to-play is we can continue to update the game. Well, guess what? It doesn't have to be free-to-play for that to fucking happen. You're really not getting a deal with the starter pack anyway, because logically, the mercenary pack or starter pack is the game's main purchase price. So telling me I'm getting blah 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 worth of stuff is a complete fallacy, as their real-world price is never actually established. Unless they're trying to point out that the mercs are hilariously overpriced, and that fans would be dumb enough to purchase the starter pack individually, which is just sort of rude to even assume anyway. Additionally, the loadouts themselves, the buffs, and all the additional characters are extraordinarily expensive. Guys, a single merc is $10 damn dollars, or 50,000 in-game credits. A chance, remember, at a normal loadout is 1,000 in-game credits, though there are very few rare loadouts in that choice spectrum. A single bronze loadout of your choice is almost $4, or 17,500 in-game credits. Shit's straight up priced the same way people price Bitcoin. A chance at a single elite loadout is an astronomical $5. And remember, that's not a guaranteed loadout of any kind. It might be a copy for the wrong character or lesser level than you have. And insanely, it can't be purchased with in-game credits. Boosters for credits run an incredible amount of money as well. Now, I've seen other people, especially in the Steam forums, suggest the devs cut the prices in half, and I would say that is a start at the very best. And when you mix in the fact that getting new loadouts is set in a lottery luck-based system, half price even seems really fucking off. The real crux is that in the end, sometimes loadouts cost you either real money or credits twice within the game. It's a stupid system at its very best. Buy some loadout lotteries with credits, and if you're lucky, you get a good one. That is for the merc that you actually want it for, and that you don't already have. If it's not one of those, you can actually upgrade it to a higher loadout by burning up a large number of the lower rarity cards and paying even more credits? Oh, but wait, as I said, if you're out of credits, spend real money for a credit boost. It's that same fucking loop of stupid that requires far too much blind luck coupled with high hours of gameplay to get what you need to do really well or what you want. Oh, and don't get me wrong, the higher rarity loadouts are absolutely vital for very good, consistent gameplay and winning. Not only do they many times have higher damage weapons, but they also have more perks per card, effectively and efficiently making good gameplay only equal the possibility of better loadouts unless money is spent for elite cases. Even people who fail at math understand that's not a good value. It's spending real money on the chance that you're going to get a good loadout you don't already have, and that's for the character you own, and, well, you get the picture. Then we get to what I call the pregnant weirdness. Now, stick with me. More than once I noticed that a good loadout was given to me as the very last drop when spending credits, as if the game was tracking my outgoing cash, and when it got low, it raised the chances of a good drop. That shit is insidious if it's true. I had 15,000 credits to spend, and I had witnesses with me and the camera recording, and I stated I bet I get 0 rare loadout cards except the very last one. Witnesses nodded that I should go for it, and so the spending began. 14 draws later, and 14 low rarity cards were in my hand. One last pick, and boom, special loadout card. This happened 3 different damn times. That's as fishy as yesterday's tacos, man. Now, is that proof that something's up? I don't know. Math and public relations were my 2 worst school courses. But I'm going to be honest, I stopped believing in astrology after noticing 4 different newspapers said 4 different things about me being a Capricorn. At some point, the proof seems to bear out something's bullshit. You see, here's the thing. Free-to-play games have not only been asking gamers for money, but they began putting purchase loops within loops. In the past, there was a solid cost for something, and we complained about that. Now it's a cost for a chance at something, but more cost to increase that chance, but even more cost to take your failures and upgrade them to a better chance, all with various purchases along the way. We've seen it before, but why is it that devs don't just say $60 and here's everything? The problem is magnified because Dirty Bomb is one of the most fantastically fun games I have ever played. And that brings us to fun factor. That's right, I'm not exaggerating when I say this is a level of fun that most governments pass laws to stop and causes insane jealousy in people around you when they find out you're having it. It's so fun that I found myself sitting, playing other games, thinking I just need one more game of Dirty Bomb. The combination of excellent levels, amazing gameplay, and outstanding audio work meant that I wanted to explore my own skills within the game. I wanted to see if I could take out just one more dude, or if using a turret in a special place might work better than where I'd placed it before. That's not to say some of the levels don't have poor planning. Spawn camping is somewhat possible in some of the levels, though I usually found that concentrated teamwork could push even back the most entrenched agent of doom. But regardless of the insane, almost monkey babble worth of fun I was having, every damn moment I interacted with the mercs or loadout screens, I wanted to punch someone in their face, because someone somewhere okayed this bullshit, and if his name isn't Darth Lord Take Your Cashicus, they should be goddamned ashamed. Sadly, the game also already has aimbots, which I fact-checked before noting in this review, and it just saddens me. In a strange way, pay-to-win is a disease and aimbots are a secondary infection, making the game doubly difficult to enjoy without caveats. But whatever. You guys know me. I rate games that are free to play as a check it out or not check it out rating scale. The game is absolutely a blast with high watermarks for artistry, sound, slick gameplay, and through-the-roof fun factor that's brought slamming down to earth like reverse rapture by pay-to-win systems looping back and forth through almost every aspect, even though they're subtly hidden. The game is worth checking out, and it's free, so why not? And you can enjoy it a fair amount without spending anything. But if you think even for a second of spending a single dollar on this game, you need to really decide if it's worth it, as a good deal of the game's purchases are not only monetary based, but they are absurdly luck based, which is one hell of a boondoggle. So that's it for me. If you like the review, hit like. If you dislike to hit dislike. I apologize it's so long, but there is a bunch here. And this game has a lot of fun factor, people. It's a very fun game, but it's also got some problems there that are really intrinsic and really within the skeleton of the game and sort of infecting it. And it's one of those things I wanted to make sure I explained in complete detail so people who were jumping in could make that decision on their own. So that's it for me. Enjoy. Peace out.